Before it was a movie, Star Wars was a myth waiting to be reborn. A tale of light and dark, of heroes and villains, of empires rising and rebels defying them. It was more than science fiction, it was the oldest story humanity has ever told, retold with lasers and starships. In the 1970s, George Lucas was just a young filmmaker from Modesto, California. Obsessed with cars, adventure serials, and Kurosawa samurai films, he wanted to create a modern myth that could inspire a new generation. Lucas pulled from everywhere: Flash Gordon for space opera, The Hidden Fortress for structure, World War II dogfights for battles, and ancient myths for spirit. Star Wars was never one thing, it was all things, woven together. At the heart of Star Wars lies Joseph Campbell's idea of the monomyth. The hero's journey, call to adventure, trials, death, and rebirth, became Luke Skywalker's path. Myth, psychology, and cinema fused. Hollywood in the 1970s was gritty and dark, films like Taxi Driver and The Godfather ruled. Studios thought Lucas's space fantasy was childish. They didn't see myth. They saw nonsense. Lucas defied them. He sketched worlds of deserts, swamps, and stars. He imagined empires and rebels, smugglers and princesses, droids and Jedi Knights. Every corner of the galaxy had history. Studios rejected him again and again. Universal passed. United Artists laughed. Only 20th Century Fox took the gamble, $11 million on a film no one believed in. With artists like Ralph McQuarrie, Lucas brought the impossible to life: stormtroopers, star destroyers, and alien cantinas. McQuarrie's paintings became the visual foundation of the galaxy far, far away. Unknown actors became icons: Mark Hamill as the boy dreamer, Carrie Fisher as the rebel princess, Harrison Ford as the cynical smuggler. Together, they embodied archetypes we already knew. John Williams' score turned fantasy into myth. His soaring symphony gave the film its soul: trumpets for heroes, strings for hope, and the infamous Imperial March for fear. On May 25, 1977, Star Wars hit theaters. Crowds wrapped around city blocks. Audiences screamed, cheered, and watched again and again. Cinema had changed forever. Star Wars wasn't just entertainment. It was an experience. For the first time, fans lived in another galaxy. Merchandising, toys, and fandom exploded overnight. Darth Vader was not just a villain. His mask evoked samurai armor, his voice boomed like a demon, and his fall mirrored myths of corruption and redemption. He was evil, but he was human. The Force wasn't science. It was spirituality, part Taoism, part Buddhism, part Christian mysticism. Lucas crafted a belief system that felt both alien and familiar, mystical yet universal. In 1980, Lucas defied convention. The sequel didn't end in triumph, but despair. Han frozen in carbonite. Luke maimed. Vader revealed as father. It was Shakespearean tragedy in space. 1983 brought closure. Vader, the fallen knight, redeemed himself through sacrifice. Evil was defeated not by hate, but by love. Myth's oldest theme, redemption, took center stage. Beyond the films, comics, novels, and toys expanded the saga. For fans, Star Wars became not just a trilogy, but a living mythology, each story adding to the lore. In 1999, Lucas returned. The prequels told how democracy became empire, how a boy became a monster. Criticized for dialogue and effects, they nonetheless deepened the myth. At its heart, the prequels were a Greek tragedy. Anakin, like Oedipus, fell not by fate but by his own choices: fear, anger, love twisted into obsession. Animated series like The Clone Wars and Rebels enriched the galaxy. New heroes, villains, and battles gave depth to the myth. The Force was bigger than any one family. In 2012, Disney purchased Lucasfilm for $4 billion. A new trilogy began, sparking hope, debate, and division. The saga passed from creator to corporation. Episode 7 revived the old magic. Rey, Finn, and Kylo Ren echoed Luke, Leia, and Vader. Nostalgia met a new generation, but questions of originality haunted it. Episode 8 split fans. Some saw genius, others betrayal. Was it subversion or destruction? Star Wars proved it was more than film, it was culture itself, debated like scripture. Episode 9 closed the Skywalker saga, uniting 9 films. Some cheered, some groaned, but for millions, it was the end of a lifelong journey. Yet Star Wars is larger than one family. New stories, The Mandalorian, Rogue One, Andor, showed different corners of the galaxy. The myth continues to grow. Luke the farm boy, Leia the warrior princess, Han the rogue, Vader the fallen knight. These weren't just characters. They were archetypes as old as storytelling itself. Star Wars mirrored history. The Empire echoed Nazi Germany, the Republic mirrored Rome. Lucas reminded us that tyranny rises not with monsters, but applause. The Jedi Order reflected Buddhist monks, samurai, even Catholic priesthoods. The Force became a modern religion, binding fans and believers across cultures. Star Wars fused futuristic tech with ancient magic. Lightsabers weren't just weapons, they were symbols of knighthood, honor, and discipline. From Kenner toys to Lego sets, Star Wars proved stories could live in plastic. For kids, toys weren't merchandise, they were gateways into the galaxy. Conventions, cosplay, fan films, and online forums created a worldwide brotherhood. Star Wars fans weren't just consumers, they were citizens of a galaxy far, far away. But passion cuts both ways. Toxic debates, harassment, and divisions revealed the shadow side of devotion. Even fandom mirrors the Force, light and dark. John Williams' score became a character of its own. From binary sunsets to dueling fates, the music carried the myth with more force than dialogue ever could. Without Star Wars, there is no Marvel, no Harry Potter, no blockbuster culture as we know it. It redefined cinema, toys, fandom, and myth in one strike. Each era reinterpreted Star Wars, Vietnam, terrorism, fascism, populism. The saga bends to history, always relevant, always reflective of its audience. Lucas stepped back, but his vision endures. Like a mythmaker of old, he created not one story, but a framework that others could retell forever. Shows, films, novels, and games promise endless expansion. But the question remains, will the myth endure, or dilute into noise? Each generation finds itself in Star Wars, whether Luke, Rey, or Din Djarin. It adapts, reshapes, and endures, because myth never dies. It isn't about spaceships. It's about hope, family, love, and the battle between fear and courage. That's why 40 years later, it still matters. Star Wars is the closest thing modern cinema has to ancient mythology. It's not just watched, it's lived, debated, and believed. The saga continues because the story never ends. The battle between light and dark exists in every age. Star Wars just gave it stars and sabers. Like Luke, we all face fear. Like Vader, we all risk falling. Like Leia, we all fight for what's right. The saga endures because it reflects us. Billions know, may the Force be with you. Star Wars isn't just film, it's language, symbol, ritual. A secular religion of modern times. From Lucas's sketches to billion-dollar franchises, from myth to memes, Star Wars is the story that became the galaxy's greatest mirror. Star Wars isn't just a movie. It's myth reborn, legend reimagined, and a saga for the ages. May the Force be with you, and if you enjoyed this journey, please like, subscribe, and join us for the next hidden chapter of history.